Welcome to this cinematic journey through one of the greatest architectural achievements in human history. Today, we explore the Great Pyramid of Giza, a monument that has stood proudly in the Egyptian desert for more than 4,500 years. Together, we will discover its history, its mysteries, the civilization that built it, and the remarkable engineering that continues to amaze the world today. Before we begin, take a moment to admire the breathtaking landscape before you. Endless golden sands stretch toward the horizon while the Great Pyramid rises above the desert with unmatched strength and beauty. For thousands of years, travelers, explorers, kings, scientists, and historians have all stood in awe of this extraordinary monument. The Great Pyramid is located on the Giza Plateau, just outside modern-day Cairo, Egypt. It is the largest of the three famous pyramids at Giza and the only remaining structure among the seven wonders of the ancient world. Every stone within this monument tells a story of remarkable planning, extraordinary craftsmanship, and an ancient civilization that achieved what many believed was impossible. When the pyramid was completed around 2560 BCE, it stood approximately 146 meters tall. For nearly 4,000 years, no human-made structure on Earth surpassed its height. Even today, despite losing its original polished limestone casing, it remains one of the largest and most impressive stone structures ever constructed. Imagine standing here during the time of the ancient Egyptians. Instead of modern roads and busy cities, you would see vast deserts, fertile farmland fed by the Nile River, camel caravans crossing the landscape, priests performing sacred ceremonies, skilled craftsmen shaping stone, and thousands of workers contributing to one of history's greatest engineering projects. The pyramid was built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, one of the rulers of Egypt's fourth dynasty. Although surprisingly little is known about his personal life, the magnificent monument created in his honor has preserved his name for thousands of years. Today, people across the world remember the Great Pyramid far more easily than the king himself. To truly understand why this pyramid was built, we must first understand ancient Egypt. More than 4,000 years ago, the Nile River transformed a harsh desert into one of the world's most prosperous civilizations. Every year, seasonal floods enriched the surrounding land with fertile soil, allowing farmers to grow crops that supported millions of people. The Nile became the lifeline of Egypt. It provided drinking water, transportation, fishing, agriculture, trade routes, and communication between cities. Because food was abundant, people developed specialized skills. Architects designed monumental buildings, engineers planned large construction projects, artists decorated temples, and craftsmen created objects of remarkable beauty. Religion influenced every aspect of Egyptian life. The pharaoh was believed to be more than a king. He represented divine authority on earth and was responsible for maintaining balance between humanity and the gods. Protecting this sacred balance was considered essential for the survival and prosperity of the kingdom. The ancient Egyptians believed that death was not the end of life. Instead, it marked the beginning of a new journey into the afterlife. They believed that the soul could continue to exist forever if the body was carefully preserved and buried according to sacred traditions. This belief inspired the practice of mummification and the construction of magnificent tombs for kings and nobles. Long before the Great Pyramid existed, Egyptian builders experimented with simpler burial structures known as mastabas. Over many generations, these designs evolved into step pyramids and eventually into the smooth-sided pyramids that became symbols of ancient Egypt. The Great Pyramid represents the highest achievement of this architectural evolution. Constructing a monument of this scale required extraordinary planning. Engineers first selected the solid limestone plateau at Giza because it could support millions of tons of stone. Surveyors then measured the land with astonishing accuracy using simple tools, careful observation of the stars, and techniques that continue to impress modern engineers. The Great Pyramid contains an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks. Most weigh between 2 and 15 tons, while some of the massive granite blocks inside the king's chamber weigh more than 70 tons. Altogether, the completed structure weighs nearly 6 million tons, making it one of the heaviest buildings ever created by human hands. Even after centuries of research, historians continue to debate exactly how ancient builders transported and positioned these enormous stones. Various theories suggest ramps, sledges, wooden rollers, and ingenious engineering techniques. Although many questions remain unanswered, there is no doubt that the project required exceptional organization, planning, and skilled craftsmanship. As the morning sun continues to illuminate the Great Pyramid, it becomes clear that this monument is far more than an enormous collection of stones. It represents human ambition, determination, faith, and the remarkable achievements of one of history's greatest civilizations. Our journey has only just begun, and there are many more remarkable discoveries waiting ahead. As construction preparations continued, Pharaoh Khufu's vision slowly began to take shape. This was not merely a royal tomb. It was intended to become an eternal symbol of divine authority, a monument that would preserve the pharaoh's legacy long after his earthly life had ended. Khufu ruled during Egypt's 4th dynasty, a period of remarkable prosperity and stability. The kingdom possessed abundant agricultural resources, a highly organized government, skilled craftsmen, and experienced engineers. These conditions made it possible to undertake one of the largest construction projects in human history. Before a single stone could be placed, surveyors carefully examined the Giza Plateau. They selected a solid limestone foundation capable of supporting millions of tons of weight. Even today, this natural bedrock continues to provide extraordinary stability to the pyramid. Ancient Egyptian surveyors achieved remarkable precision without modern instruments. Using ropes, measuring rods, plumb bobs, and careful observations of the stars, they established perfectly straight reference lines. The accuracy of their work continues to impress engineers and archaeologists around the world. One of the pyramid's most extraordinary features is its alignment. Each side faces almost exactly toward one of the 4 cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. The margin of error is incredibly small, demonstrating an advanced understanding of astronomy and geometry. Historians believe that the planning stage alone required years of preparation. Every measurement had to be calculated carefully. The dimensions, internal chambers, passageways, and surrounding temples all had to fit into a single unified design before construction could begin. Nearby quarries supplied much of the limestone used to build the pyramid. Workers carefully cut massive blocks from the bedrock using copper tools, wooden wedges, stone hammers, and remarkable patience. Each block had to be shaped with great precision before being transported to the construction site. The granite used inside the king's chamber came from Aswan, located more than 800 kilometers to the south. These enormous stones, some weighing more than 70 tons, were transported along the Nile River using specially designed boats before completing the final journey across land. Transporting millions of stone blocks required extraordinary organization. Historians believe workers used large wooden sledges pulled by teams of laborers. Recent discoveries suggest that pouring water onto the sand reduced friction, making it easier to move these incredibly heavy loads across the desert. Contrary to popular myths, archaeological discoveries indicate that the pyramid builders were not primarily enslaved workers. Excavations have uncovered worker villages complete with homes, bakeries, kitchens, medical facilities, and cemeteries, suggesting a well-organized workforce supported by the Egyptian state. Many workers were farmers who participated during the annual Nile flood season, when their fields were underwater and agricultural work temporarily stopped. This allowed thousands of people to contribute to national construction projects while continuing their farming responsibilities during the rest of the year. Life within the workers' settlement was carefully organized. Bread was baked in enormous quantities every day. Beer, considered a nutritious staple rather than simply a drink, formed an important part of the workers' daily diet. Meat, fish, vegetables, and grains provided the energy required for physically demanding labor. Skilled craftsmen shaped stone with remarkable accuracy. Surveyors constantly checked measurements. Engineers supervised construction. Priests performed religious ceremonies. Administrators recorded supplies and organized labor. Thousands of individuals worked together as part of one carefully managed project. As each new layer of stone was completed, the pyramid gradually rose higher above the surrounding desert. Every block had to fit precisely into position. Small errors near the base could become enormous problems near the summit, making accuracy essential throughout construction. Although many questions remain unanswered, the Great Pyramid stands as powerful evidence of what human cooperation, careful planning, and remarkable engineering can achieve. More than 4,500 years later, it continues to inspire admiration and curiosity throughout the world. As sunlight slowly moves across the massive limestone blocks, it becomes easier to appreciate the dedication of the thousands of men and women whose knowledge and effort made this extraordinary achievement possible. Their names may have faded from history, but their work continues to stand before us today. The construction of the Great Pyramid was not only a triumph of engineering, it was also a reflection of ancient Egypt's beliefs, culture, organization, and vision of eternity. Every stone placed upon this monument represented another step toward immortality for the pharaoh and another chapter in the remarkable story of human civilization. While the exterior of the pyramid impresses visitors with its sheer size, the true mysteries continue beneath the surface. Hidden passageways, carefully designed chambers, and remarkable architectural features reveal that the Great Pyramid was far more complex than it first appears. As we continue our journey, we will step inside this extraordinary monument to explore the secrets concealed within its ancient walls. From the outside, the Great Pyramid appears to be a solid mountain of stone. However, hidden within its massive structure lies an extraordinary network of passages, chambers, and carefully designed architectural features that continue to fascinate researchers today. The original entrance to the Great Pyramid is located on its northern face, positioned high above the ground. This entrance was carefully concealed beneath the smooth limestone casing stones, making it difficult to detect from a distance. After entering the pyramid, visitors descend through a narrow passage carved directly into the bedrock. The corridor is steep, confined, and intentionally designed to guide travelers deep into the heart of the monument. As explorers continue farther inside, they eventually reach one of the pyramid's most remarkable engineering features, the Grand Gallery. Rising nearly 9 meters high, this magnificent corridor stretches upward with perfectly aligned limestone walls that still inspire admiration today. The purpose of the Grand Gallery continues to be studied by archaeologists and engineers. Some believe it served as part of the construction process, while others suggest it played an important ceremonial role during the burial of Pharaoh Khufu. Beyond the Grand Gallery lies the King's Chamber, one of the most famous rooms within the pyramid. Built entirely from massive granite blocks transported from Aswan, this chamber demonstrates the extraordinary precision achieved by ancient Egyptian builders. At the center of the King's Chamber rests a large granite sarcophagus. Although it is commonly described as the pharaoh's coffin, no mummy or burial treasures were discovered inside when the chamber was first explored in modern times. This absence of royal remains has inspired centuries of debate. Some historians believe the tomb was robbed thousands of years ago, while others continue to explore alternative theories about the chamber's original purpose. Above the King's Chamber are several hidden relieving chambers. These remarkable spaces were designed to distribute the immense weight of millions of tons of stone pressing downward from above. Without these ingenious architectural features, the chamber itself might have collapsed under enormous pressure. One of the names discovered within these upper chambers helped confirm that the pyramid was indeed constructed during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu. Ancient red-painted quarry marks left by workers provided valuable historical evidence supporting this conclusion. Another fascinating area inside the pyramid is known as the Queen's Chamber. Despite its name, there is no evidence that an Egyptian queen was ever buried there. Its true purpose remains one of the monument's enduring mysteries. Small shafts extend from both the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber toward the outer structure of the pyramid. Some researchers believe these shafts serve symbolic religious purposes, representing pathways through which the pharaoh's spirit could ascend toward the stars. Ancient Egyptian astronomy played an important role in pyramid design. The Egyptians carefully observed the movement of stars, planets, and the sun, believing that the heavens were closely connected to eternal life and the journey of the soul. Modern technology has opened new possibilities for exploring the Great Pyramid without damaging its structure. Scientists now use lasers, thermal imaging, robotic cameras, and cosmic ray scanning techniques to search for hidden chambers that may still remain undiscovered. In recent years, researchers identified a previously unknown void located high above the Grand Gallery. Although its exact purpose remains uncertain, the discovery demonstrates that even today the Great Pyramid continues to reveal new secrets. Every new discovery reminds us that this monument has not yet revealed all of its mysteries. More than 4,500 years after its construction, archaeologists are still learning about the remarkable engineering knowledge possessed by the ancient Egyptians. Standing within these silent stone chambers, it is impossible not to imagine the ceremonies that may once have taken place here. Flickering torchlight, sacred prayers, carefully prepared offerings, and solemn rituals would have transformed these corridors into one of the most sacred places in the ancient world. The smooth stone walls have witnessed countless generations of explorers, scholars, and travelers seeking answers to questions that remain unanswered. Every passage seems to whisper fragments of history, inviting us to continue searching for the truth hidden deep within this extraordinary monument. Although the interior of the Great Pyramid appears quiet today, it continues to speak through its architecture. Every chamber, every corridor, and every precisely placed stone reflects the intelligence, creativity, and determination of one of history's greatest civilizations. As we emerge once again into the brilliant Egyptian sunlight, another magnificent monument waits nearby. Watching silently over the Giza Plateau for thousands of years, the Great Sphinx stands as one of the most recognizable and mysterious sculptures ever created. Our journey now turns toward its remarkable story. Only a short distance from the Great Pyramid stands another extraordinary masterpiece of the ancient world. Carved directly from a single massive outcrop of limestone, the Great Sphinx has watched over the Giza Plateau for thousands of years, becoming one of the most recognizable monuments on Earth. The Great Sphinx measures approximately 73 meters in length and about 20 meters in height. With the body of a powerful lion and the head of a human ruler, it represents strength, wisdom, protection, and royal authority. Its impressive scale continues to amaze visitors from around the world. Most Egyptologists believe the Sphinx was constructed during the reign of Pharaoh Khafra, the son of Khufu and the builder of the second largest pyramid at Giza. Although this theory is widely accepted, researchers continue to study the monument in search of additional evidence about its exact origins. The face of the Sphinx has become one of history's most famous images. While weathering has softened many of its features over time, traces of remarkable craftsmanship remain visible even after more than 4,000 years beneath the Egyptian sun. One of the greatest mysteries surrounding the Sphinx is the missing nose. Contrary to popular belief, there is no reliable evidence that Napoleon's soldiers destroyed it. Historical drawings made before Napoleon's arrival already show the monument without its nose, suggesting it had disappeared centuries earlier. The desert has always been both friend and enemy to the Sphinx. Throughout history, shifting sands repeatedly buried large portions of the monument. On several occasions, only the head remained visible above the surrounding desert, while the rest of the body disappeared beneath layers of sand. Ancient Egyptian rulers organized large restoration projects to uncover and preserve the Sphinx. One of the most famous restoration efforts took place during the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose IV. According to tradition, the young prince fell asleep beside the buried Sphinx and dreamed that it promised him the throne if he cleared away the surrounding sand. After becoming pharaoh, Thutmose ordered the monument to be excavated. To commemorate the event, he placed the famous dream stele between the Sphinx's front paws, where it can still be seen today by visitors exploring the Giza Plateau. The Giza Plateau was far more than a collection of pyramids. It formed an enormous ceremonial complex containing temples, causeways, cemeteries, worker settlements, storage buildings, workshops, and sacred spaces dedicated to honoring the pharaohs and preparing them for eternity. Funerary temples stood beside each pyramid, where priests performed daily rituals and presented offerings long after the pharaoh's burial. These ceremonies reflected the Egyptian belief that the ruler's spirit continued to influence the kingdom from the afterlife. Stone causeways connected the pyramids to valley temples located closer to the Nile River. These carefully designed roads allowed funeral processions to move with dignity from the river to the sacred burial complex high upon the plateau. Beyond the great monuments lay extensive cemeteries where members of the royal family, high-ranking officials, priests, architects, and skilled craftsmen were buried. Their beautifully decorated tombs provide historians with valuable insights into everyday life in ancient Egypt. The walls of these tombs contain vivid carvings and colorful paintings showing farming, fishing, hunting, music, dancing, religious ceremonies, and family life. Together, they create an extraordinary visual record of one of history's greatest civilizations. Although the pyramids dominate the skyline, the surrounding landscape tells an equally important story. Every temple, statue, roadway, and tomb formed part of a carefully planned sacred city dedicated to honoring the pharaoh and maintaining the spiritual traditions of ancient Egypt. As the sun slowly moves across the Giza Plateau, changing shadows reveal new details hidden within the ancient stone. Every hour transforms the appearance of these monuments, reminding us that they remain living witnesses to thousands of years of human history. Today, the Great Pyramid and the Great Sphinx continue to inspire architects, engineers, historians, and travelers alike. Their remarkable preservation allows modern visitors to stand in the very places where ancient Egyptians once celebrated, worshipped, worked, and dreamed of eternity. Although much has been discovered, countless mysteries remain. New archaeological excavations, advanced scientific technologies, and ongoing research continue to deepen our understanding of these extraordinary monuments, proving that ancient Egypt still has many stories left to tell. As our journey continues, we now leave the stone monuments behind and follow the gentle flow of the Nile River. Without its life-giving waters, neither the pyramids nor the civilization that built them could ever have existed. The story of Egypt is, above all, the story of the Nile itself. As we leave the towering pyramids behind, our journey follows the gentle waters of the Nile River. Flowing for more than 6,600 kilometers through northeastern Africa, the Nile is one of the longest rivers in the world. For ancient Egypt, it was not simply a river, it was the foundation of an entire civilization. Unlike the surrounding desert, the Nile Valley was rich with fertile soil. Every year, seasonal floods spread nutrient-rich silt across the land, creating ideal conditions for farming. This natural cycle transformed an otherwise harsh landscape into one of the most productive regions of the ancient world. The ancient Egyptians understood the rhythm of the Nile better than anyone. Their calendar, farming seasons, and daily lives were closely connected to the river's annual flooding. When the waters rose, fields were renewed. When they receded, farmers planted wheat, barley, flax, vegetables, and fruit that sustained millions of people. The abundance created by successful harvests allowed Egyptian society to flourish. With reliable food supplies, people could specialize in professions beyond farming. Skilled architects, artists, physicians, merchants, priests, engineers, and craftsmen all contributed to one of history's most advanced civilizations. The Nile also served as Egypt's primary highway. Long before roads connected distant cities, boats carried people, food, building materials, livestock, and trade goods along its calm waters. From the southern regions near Aswan to the northern Nile Delta, the river united the kingdom. Large wooden boats transported enormous stone blocks used to construct temples and pyramids. Granite quarried hundreds of kilometers away could be floated downstream with remarkable efficiency. Without the Nile, transporting such massive materials would have been nearly impossible. Fishing provided another important source of food. Ancient Egyptians caught tilapia, catfish, perch, and many other freshwater species using woven nets, harpoons, and fishing lines. Scenes carved into ancient tombs continue to illustrate these traditional fishing methods in remarkable detail. The riverbanks supported an incredible variety of wildlife. Birds such as herons, ibis, kingfishers, ducks, and geese nested among the reeds. Crocodiles and hippopotamuses lived in the river itself, inspiring both fear and religious symbolism among the ancient Egyptians. Papyrus plants grew abundantly along the edges of the Nile. These remarkable plants were used to make paper, boats, baskets, sandals, ropes, mats, and many everyday household items. Papyrus also became one of Egypt's most valuable exports, helping spread knowledge throughout the ancient world. Markets flourished along the riverbanks. Merchants exchanged grain, pottery, linen, jewelry, spices, perfumes, precious stones, and handcrafted goods. The Nile connected villages and cities, encouraging trade and strengthening Egypt's growing economy. The river was deeply connected to Egyptian religion. The annual flooding was viewed as a divine blessing, and many ceremonies expressed gratitude for the life that the Nile provided. Temples along its banks became important centers of worship, education, and community life. Many Egyptian cities were carefully planned around the river. Homes, temples, workshops, and gardens were built where fresh water was easily available. Palm trees, fruit orchards, and cultivated fields created vibrant green landscapes that contrasted beautifully with the surrounding desert. Every sunrise over the Nile marked the beginning of another day filled with activity. Farmers worked the fields, fishermen prepared their boats, merchants loaded their cargo, children learned traditional skills, and priests welcomed worshippers into magnificent temples dedicated to the gods. As evening approached, golden sunlight reflected across the calm waters, creating breathtaking scenes that have inspired artists, poets, and travelers for centuries. Even today, the peaceful beauty of the Nile continues to capture the imagination of visitors from around the world. Although modern Egypt has changed dramatically over thousands of years, the Nile remains the country's lifeline. It continues to provide water, agriculture, transportation, and economic opportunities, just as it did for the ancient civilization that once built the Great Pyramid. Without the Nile River, the remarkable achievements of ancient Egypt would never have been possible. The pyramids, temples, cities, and monuments all owe their existence to the life-giving waters that transformed the desert into one of history's greatest civilizations. As we continue our journey, we return our attention to the towering Great Pyramid itself. Having explored the landscape, the river, and the people who built this extraordinary monument, we now begin to examine the mysteries that continue to challenge historians, engineers, and scientists around the world. For centuries, people have asked the same question. How did an ancient civilization, without modern machines, cranes, or steel equipment, construct one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history? The answer lies not in magic, but in remarkable planning, organization, and an extraordinary understanding of mathematics and engineering. Every stone used in the Great Pyramid had to be carefully quarried, shaped, transported, and positioned with incredible precision. Even a small error near the base would have multiplied as construction continued upward. Accuracy was essential from the very beginning. Modern engineers estimate that more than 2 million limestone blocks were used during construction. If only one block had been placed each day, the project would have required thousands of years. Instead, historians believe teams of skilled workers placed hundreds of stones during different stages of construction, following a carefully organized schedule. Copper chisels, stone hammers, wooden sledges, ropes, and simple measuring tools formed the primary equipment available to Egyptian builders. Although these tools appear basic by modern standards, they were used with remarkable skill and precision. One of the greatest challenges involved transporting enormous stone blocks across the desert. Recent archaeological discoveries suggest that workers poured water onto the sand before pulling heavy sledges. Moist sand reduced friction, allowing large teams to move stones more efficiently than on dry desert sand. Engineers also needed an effective method for raising stones higher as the pyramid grew taller. Although historians continue to debate the exact design, most theories involve carefully constructed ramps that allowed workers to pull heavy blocks upward in gradual stages. Some researchers believe straight ramps extended outward from one side of the pyramid during its early construction. Others suggest spiral ramps wrapped around the structure as additional layers were completed. Each theory attempts to explain one of history's greatest engineering puzzles. Whatever method was used, the builders demonstrated an extraordinary understanding of weight distribution, balance, and structural stability. Even after more than 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid remains one of the most stable stone structures ever constructed. The pyramid's foundation is another remarkable achievement. Engineers first leveled the natural limestone bedrock with astonishing accuracy. Across the entire base, differences in elevation measure only a few centimeters despite covering more than 5 hectares of land. Even today, creating such a perfectly level foundation for a structure of this size would require advanced surveying equipment. The achievement of the ancient Egyptians continues to impress engineers around the world. The 4 sides of the Great Pyramid are lined almost perfectly with the cardinal directions of north, south, east, and west. Many researchers believe Egyptian surveyors achieved this remarkable accuracy by observing circumpolar stars that never disappeared below the horizon. The geometry of the pyramid has inspired countless studies. Some researchers have noticed mathematical relationships involving proportions, angles, and measurements that continue to generate discussion among historians and engineers. While many claims remain speculative, the pyramid's precise design is undeniable. Originally, the outer surface of the pyramid was covered with highly polished white limestone casing stones. Under the bright Egyptian sun, these smooth surfaces reflected light brilliantly, making the pyramid visible from many kilometers away. Visitors approaching Giza thousands of years ago would have seen a dazzling monument shining against the blue sky, far brighter than the weathered limestone visible today. The polished exterior transformed the pyramid into an unforgettable symbol of royal power. Over centuries, earthquakes and human activity caused many of the casing stones to fall or be removed. Some were reused in the construction of buildings and mosques in nearby Cairo. As a result, the rough limestone blocks that once formed the pyramid's inner core are now exposed. Despite these changes, the monument has survived remarkably well. It has withstood powerful earthquakes, centuries of wind erosion, desert storms, and enormous changes in climate, yet it continues to dominate the Giza Plateau with incredible strength. Perhaps the greatest achievement was not simply building the pyramid, but organizing the thousands of workers, craftsmen, engineers, surveyors, priests, and administrators required to complete such a massive national project. Their success reflects one of the most efficient administrative systems of the ancient world. Today, architects and engineers still study the Great Pyramid for inspiration. Its durability, precision, and structural design continue to demonstrate that remarkable achievements are possible when knowledge, planning, and human determination work together toward a common goal. Although science has answered many questions about the Great Pyramid, countless mysteries remain. Hidden spaces, unexplored chambers, and unanswered engineering puzzles continue to attract researchers from around the globe, ensuring that the story of this remarkable monument is far from complete. Although thousands of scientific studies have been conducted over the past 2 centuries, the Great Pyramid still holds many unanswered questions. Every new archaeological discovery adds another piece to the puzzle, while reminding us that much about this extraordinary monument remains unknown. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Great Pyramid is that it continues to surprise researchers. New technologies have allowed scientists to examine areas that were previously impossible to investigate without damaging the ancient structure. Modern researchers now use laser scanning, thermal imaging, high-resolution photography, ground-penetrating radar, and a remarkable technique known as muon tomography. By studying naturally occurring cosmic particles that pass through stone, scientists can detect hidden spaces deep inside massive structures. In 2017, researchers announced the discovery of a previously unknown void located high above the Grand Gallery. This hidden space appears to be one of the largest internal features discovered inside the pyramid in modern times. Although the exact purpose of this large void remains uncertain, its discovery demonstrated that the Great Pyramid may still contain architectural features waiting to be explored. Future research could reveal even more about the monument's original design. Archaeologists approach every new discovery with great care. Rather than rushing to conclusions, they compare evidence from excavation sites, historical records, engineering studies, and scientific measurements before proposing explanations. Over the years, many extraordinary theories have been suggested about the Great Pyramid. Some claim it was built with unknown technology, while others propose connections to lost civilizations or visitors from beyond our world. These ideas have captured the imagination of millions of people. However, no credible archaeological evidence has confirmed such claims. The overwhelming body of historical evidence continues to support the conclusion that the Great Pyramid was designed and built by the ancient Egyptians using the knowledge, tools, and organization available during their time. Rather than diminishing the achievement, this conclusion makes the monument even more impressive. It reminds us that human intelligence, determination, and cooperation are capable of producing extraordinary accomplishments without relying on supernatural explanations. Ancient quarry marks, workers' villages, unfinished stone blocks, construction tools, and written records all help historians reconstruct how the pyramid was built. Every archaeological discovery strengthens our understanding of this remarkable civilization. The Great Pyramid also demonstrates the importance of careful planning. Every passageway, chamber, corridor, and stone block appears to have been positioned according to a highly organized architectural plan that required years of preparation before construction even began. Many visitors are surprised to learn that the Great Pyramid was only one part of a much larger complex. Mortuary temples, causeways, satellite pyramids, cemeteries, boat pits, workers' settlements, and administrative buildings surrounded the monument, forming a complete ceremonial landscape. Among the most remarkable discoveries near the pyramid was a full-sized ancient wooden boat, carefully dismantled and buried beside the monument. Known today as the Khufu ship, it measures more than 40 meters in length and demonstrates the extraordinary woodworking skills of ancient Egyptian craftsmen. Researchers believe the vessel may have served an important ceremonial purpose connected to the pharaoh's journey into the afterlife. It also provides valuable insight into ancient Egyptian shipbuilding techniques and river transportation. Every year, international teams of archaeologists continue working across the Giza Plateau. Excavations reveal new tombs, inscriptions, tools, pottery, and everyday objects that help historians understand not only the pharaohs but also the ordinary people who built and maintained this remarkable site. Unlike many ancient monuments that exist only as isolated ruins, Giza remains an active archaeological landscape. Every excavation has the potential to change our understanding of ancient Egyptian civilization. Modern conservation projects are equally important. Engineers and preservation specialists constantly monitor the condition of the pyramid and surrounding monuments to protect them from pollution, weathering, tourism, and the natural effects of time. Standing before the Great Pyramid today, it is remarkable to realize that despite thousands of years of study, this extraordinary monument continues to inspire new questions. Perhaps that is one of its greatest achievements, not simply surviving the passage of time, but continuing to encourage curiosity, exploration, and scientific discovery in every generation that follows. As the sun slowly sets across the Giza Plateau, the shadows lengthen, the desert grows quieter, and the timeless silhouette of the Great Pyramid reminds us that some of history's greatest wonders continue to speak across the centuries, not through words, but through the enduring legacy of human achievement. Few places on Earth create the same feeling as stepping inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. The temperature drops, outside sounds disappear, and every stone seems to carry the weight of thousands of years of history. Visitors enter through a passage leading deep into the monument. The corridors are narrow, forcing people to move carefully as they descend and climb through the ancient structure. Although the pyramid appears solid from the outside, it contains an extraordinary network of passages and chambers hidden within millions of limestone blocks. One of the first major spaces is known as the Descending Passage. This deep corridor leads toward an unfinished underground chamber carved directly into the bedrock beneath the pyramid. Historians continue to debate the purpose of this underground chamber. Some believe it was part of the original construction plan, while others think it was abandoned as the pyramid's design evolved. Ascending from the lower passage, visitors reach one of the most impressive engineering achievements of the ancient world, the Grand Gallery. This magnificent corridor stretches for nearly 50 meters and rises more than 8 meters high. Its walls gradually step inward as they rise, creating both strength and remarkable visual beauty. The precision of the Grand Gallery continues to amaze engineers. Massive stone blocks were placed with extraordinary accuracy, forming a passage that has remained stable for more than 4,500 years. Beyond the Grand Gallery lies the King's Chamber, the room traditionally believed to have housed the sarcophagus of Pharaoh Khufu. Unlike most of the pyramid, this chamber was constructed almost entirely from enormous blocks of red granite transported hundreds of kilometers from quarries near Aswan. Each granite block weighs several tons, making their transportation and precise placement one of the greatest engineering achievements of the ancient world. Near the center of the chamber stands a large granite sarcophagus. It is slightly wider than the entrance passage, indicating that it was placed inside while the pyramid was still under construction. The King's Chamber also contains narrow shafts extending toward the outer surface of the pyramid. Although once believed to be ventilation shafts, many researchers now think they may have held symbolic or ceremonial significance connected to the pharaoh's journey into the afterlife. Above the king's chamber are a series of relieving chambers designed to distribute the enormous weight of the pyramid. These hidden spaces protect the chamber below from the pressure of millions of stone blocks overhead. The design demonstrates that ancient Egyptian architects possessed an advanced understanding of structural engineering long before modern construction methods existed. Even today, walking through these ancient passages creates an unforgettable experience. Every corridor, every chamber, and every stone reflects remarkable planning, precision, and craftsmanship that continues to inspire admiration across the world. For centuries, people believed that everything inside the Great Pyramid had already been discovered. Yet even today, the monument continues to reveal new secrets. Unlike many ancient structures, the Great Pyramid has never fully surrendered its mysteries. Every generation of researchers uncovers new evidence that raises even more questions. One of the greatest mysteries is the Queen's Chamber. Despite its name, there is no evidence that a queen was ever buried here. The chamber is located almost exactly in the center of the pyramid and has a beautiful pointed ceiling designed to distribute weight while creating an impressive interior space. From the walls of the Queen's Chamber extend two narrow shafts. Unlike those in the King's Chamber, these shafts remain sealed for thousands of years. In the 1990s, engineers sent a tiny robotic vehicle through one of these narrow passages. To everyone's surprise, the robot discovered a small limestone door fitted with two copper handles. No one expected to find a sealed doorway hidden deep inside the pyramid. Years later, more advanced robots carefully drilled through the tiny stone door. Behind it, researchers found another small chamber, and then another sealed door. Instead of solving the mystery, the exploration created even more unanswered questions. Why were these tiny passages built? Where do they lead? Were they symbolic pathways for the spirit of the pharaoh, or do they hide something still undiscovered? The answers remain unknown. In recent years, scientists have begun studying the pyramid without touching a single stone. Using a technique called muon tomography, researchers can detect hidden spaces by measuring cosmic particles that naturally pass through the structure. This technology works much like a medical CT scan, allowing scientists to see inside massive stone monuments without causing any damage. In 2017, researchers announced one of the most important discoveries in modern Egyptology. They identified a previously unknown empty space high above the Grand Gallery. This enormous hidden area became known as the Big Void. The chamber measures at least 30 meters in length, making it one of the largest hidden spaces ever discovered inside the pyramid. What makes this discovery remarkable is that no one knows its purpose. It could be an undiscovered chamber. It might have been built to reduce structural pressure, or it may have served a ceremonial function that historians have yet to understand. At present, no one has entered the Big Void. Its interior remains completely unexplored. Every new discovery reminds us that the Great Pyramid still holds secrets after more than 4,500 years. Even with satellites, lasers, robots, and advanced scanning technology, humanity has not uncovered every mystery hidden within this extraordinary monument. One question has fascinated historians, engineers, and archaeologists for centuries. How was the Great Pyramid actually built? More than 4,500 years ago, without modern machines, without steel cranes, and without powered equipment, ancient Egyptians completed one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history. The Great Pyramid originally stood about 146 meters tall, making it the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 3,800 years. It contains an estimated 2.3 million limestone and granite blocks, with the average block weighing between 2 and 3 tons, while some granite stones inside the king's chamber weigh more than 70 tons. Moving such enormous stones across the desert seems almost impossible. Yet archaeological evidence suggests that the builders developed surprisingly practical solutions. Most of the limestone used for the pyramid came from quarries located just south of the construction site. This reduced transportation distance and allowed thousands of blocks to arrive continuously during construction. The massive granite blocks, however, came from Aswan, nearly 800 kilometers away along the Nile River. Historians believe these stones were transported on large wooden boats during the annual Nile floods. When the water level was high, canals connected directly to the construction area, allowing heavy cargo to be unloaded much closer to the pyramid site. Once the stones reached land, workers likely placed them on large wooden sledges instead of rolling them on logs. This method reduced friction and allowed teams of workers to move incredibly heavy loads. One remarkable discovery changed our understanding of this process. Ancient wall paintings show workers pouring water onto the sand in front of the sledges. For many years, no one understood why. Modern scientific experiments finally revealed the answer. Slightly wet sand becomes firmer than dry sand, reducing resistance and making it much easier to pull heavy objects across the desert. It was a simple idea, but an incredibly effective engineering solution. Researchers now believe that carefully controlling the moisture of the sand may have reduced the force required to move massive stone blocks by nearly half. This discovery reminds us that ancient civilizations often solve complex engineering problems through careful observation of nature, rather than advanced machinery. Even today, engineers continue studying these techniques, hoping to understand every detail of one of history's greatest construction projects. For a very long time, many people believed that the Great Pyramid was built by slaves. But modern archaeological discoveries tell a very different story. Excavations near the Giza Plateau uncovered the remains of an entire workers' village, complete with homes, bakeries, breweries, kitchens, workshops, and even cemeteries. These discoveries suggest that the builders were not slaves, but skilled workers, craftsmen, engineers, stone cutters, surveyors, and laborers who were respected for their contribution to one of Egypt's greatest national projects. The workers were provided with food, clean water, medical care, and places to live. Evidence shows they consumed bread, onions, dates, fish, and surprisingly large amounts of beef and mutton, foods that were valuable in ancient Egypt. Archaeologists also found healed broken bones among the workers' remains. This indicates that injured laborers received medical treatment instead of being abandoned, something that would have been unlikely if they had been treated as disposable slaves. It is estimated that around 20,000 to 30,000 workers may have participated in the construction, although not all worked at the same time. Many laborers were likely farmers. During the annual flooding of the Nile River, their fields remained underwater for several months. Instead of remaining idle, they joined royal construction projects and earned food, shelter, and status. This seasonal workforce allowed Egypt to complete enormous building projects while making productive use of thousands of experienced workers. Of course, building the Great Pyramid required far more than physical strength. Surveyors carefully measured every corner of the foundation. Stone cutters shaped each block with remarkable precision. Architects planned the internal chambers, while engineers coordinated every stage of construction. Even a tiny mistake at the base could have caused major problems hundreds of feet above the ground. Yet the finished pyramid remains astonishingly accurate. The four sides of the Great Pyramid are lined almost perfectly with the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. The difference from true north is only a tiny fraction of a degree, an achievement that still impresses modern surveyors. How ancient Egyptians achieved this level of precision without compasses, GPS, or laser instruments remains one of history's greatest engineering mysteries. Some researchers believe they used careful observations of the stars. Others suggest they tracked the movement of the sun, or combined multiple astronomical methods to establish perfect alignment. Whatever techniques they used, the results speak for themselves. After more than 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid continues to stand as one of the most accurately constructed monuments ever built. Its builders left behind not only a monument of stone, but also a lasting symbol of human intelligence, teamwork, and extraordinary determination. If you were standing in front of the Great Pyramid when it was first completed, you would hardly recognize it. The rough stepped appearance we see today did not exist. Instead, the entire pyramid was covered with thousands of smooth white limestone casing stones. Each block was carefully polished until its surface reflected the brilliant Egyptian sunlight. Imagine the morning sun rising over the Giza Plateau, its golden rays striking millions of perfectly aligned limestone surfaces. The entire pyramid would have appeared almost luminous, shining like a gigantic mountain of light visible from many kilometers away. Ancient writers described the pyramid as dazzling. Some even claimed it could be seen from great distances across the Nile Valley because of its brilliant reflective surface. The precision of these casing stones was extraordinary. The gaps between neighboring blocks were often so small that even today it is difficult to insert a thin blade between surviving examples. This remarkable craftsmanship helped create perfectly flat sides, giving the pyramid an appearance that was both elegant and mathematically precise. At the very top of the pyramid stood the pyramid ion, also called the capstone. Although the original capstone has never been found, many historians believe it was covered with electrum, a natural alloy of gold and silver, or possibly plated with polished gold. As sunlight struck the summit each morning, the pyramid ion may have glowed like a brilliant star above the desert, creating a powerful symbol of the pharaoh's connection with the heavens. For the ancient Egyptians, the pyramid was far more than a royal tomb. It represented creation itself. According to Egyptian beliefs, the first land emerged from the waters of chaos as a sacred mound. The pyramid symbolized this first hill, representing order, stability, and eternal life. Its sloping sides may also have symbolized rays of sunlight, allowing the spirit of the pharaoh to ascend toward the sky and join the sun god Ra. Every detail of the monument carried religious meaning. Nothing was placed by accident. Yet the pyramid we admire today has changed dramatically over the centuries. Powerful earthquakes damaged many of the outer casing stones, loosening blocks that had remained perfectly fitted for thousands of years. Later, during the medieval period, many of these beautiful polished stones were removed by builders. Rather than allowing valuable limestone to remain unused, rulers ordered the stones to be transported into Cairo, where they became part of mosques, fortifications, bridges, palaces, and other important buildings. Even today, visitors walking through parts of historic Cairo may unknowingly pass stones that once formed the shining outer skin of the Great Pyramid. This recycling of ancient building materials was common throughout history. Although unfortunate from a modern preservation perspective, it provided valuable construction materials for later generations. Fortunately, a small number of original casing stones still survive near the base of the neighboring Pyramid of Khafra, giving historians an important glimpse of how all three Great Pyramids once appeared. Using these surviving stones, along with archaeological measurements, researchers have created detailed digital reconstructions showing the pyramid in its original form. The results are breathtaking. Instead of a weathered staircase of exposed limestone blocks, the monument appears smooth, symmetrical, brilliantly white, and almost glowing beneath the Egyptian sun. Many visitors are surprised to learn that the pyramid they see today is only the inner structural core. The magnificent outer shell, which once transformed the monument into one of the brightest structures on Earth, has almost completely disappeared. Yet despite earthquakes, centuries of erosion, stone removal, desert winds, and changing civilizations, the Great Pyramid still dominates the Giza Plateau. Its survival is a powerful reminder that truly remarkable engineering can outlast empires, religions, and even the passage of thousands of years. Even after thousands of years, the Great Pyramid continues to inspire scientists, architects, historians, and millions of visitors from around the world. Every year, people travel to Egypt hoping to witness this incredible monument with their own eyes. Many describe standing before it as an unforgettable experience, because photographs simply cannot capture its true scale. The Great Pyramid has survived changing civilizations, powerful earthquakes, harsh desert winds, and the passage of more than 45 centuries. Yet it still dominates the Giza Plateau with remarkable strength and dignity. Its influence extends far beyond Egypt. Throughout history, architects have studied its proportions, engineers have admired its precision, and explorers have searched for the secrets hidden within its massive stone walls. Even with today's advanced technology, researchers continue making new discoveries, proving that this ancient monument still has stories left to tell. Perhaps that is the greatest achievement of the Great Pyramid. It is not simply a structure built in the distant past. It is a living connection between ancient civilization and the modern world, reminding us that human curiosity never truly ends. And as we continue our journey through ancient Egypt, we will discover that the Great Pyramid was only one part of an extraordinary civilization, a civilization that changed history, shaped human knowledge, and continues to fascinate the world even today. To truly understand the Great Pyramid, we must look beyond its massive stones and remarkable engineering, because to the ancient Egyptians, this monument was never just a building. It was a gateway between Earth and eternity. The Egyptians believed that life did not end with death. Instead, death marked the beginning of another journey, one that required careful preparation, powerful rituals, and absolute faith in the gods. At the center of this belief stood the Pharaoh, who was considered far more than a king. He was believed to be the living representative of the gods on earth, responsible for maintaining harmony, justice, and balance throughout the kingdom. When a pharaoh died, Egyptians believed his spirit would continue its existence in another world. But reaching that eternal destination was not automatic. The journey was filled with challenges, dangerous creatures, mysterious gates, and divine judges. For this reason, every detail surrounding the pharaoh's burial was carefully planned. The pyramid, the burial chamber, the treasures, and the religious ceremonies all formed part of a much larger spiritual design. One of the most important concepts in ancient Egyptian religion was the Ka, believed to be a person's spiritual life force. The Ka continued to exist after death, but it still required a recognizable body and regular offerings of food and drink. Another essential part of the soul was the Ba, often represented as a bird with a human head. Unlike the Ka, the Ba could travel freely between the world of the living and the world of the dead, returning each night to reunite with the preserved body. Together, the Ka and the Ba eventually became the Ark, a transformed and blessed spirit capable of living forever among the gods. Because preserving the body was considered essential, the Egyptians developed one of history's most remarkable preservation techniques, mummification. The process required extraordinary skill and usually lasted about 70 days. Priests carefully removed internal organs, dried the body using natural salt called natron, wrapped it in hundreds of meters of linen, and placed protective amulets between the layers of cloth. Every stage included prayers, sacred rituals, and symbolic ceremonies designed to protect the deceased during the journey into eternity. The heart remained inside the body because Egyptians believed it contained a person's thoughts, memories, and moral character. During the final judgment, the heart would be weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the ancient goddess who represented truth, justice, and balance. If the heart remained lighter than or equal to the feather, the soul was declared pure, allowing it to enter the eternal paradise known as the Field of Reeds. But if the heart proved heavy with dishonesty, cruelty, or injustice, it would be devoured by the terrifying creature Amit, ending the soul's existence forever. This belief encouraged Egyptians to live honorable lives, because every action, every promise, and every decision would eventually be judged. To guide the deceased safely through the afterlife, tombs often contained collections of sacred writings now known as the Book of the Dead. Despite its modern name, it was not a single book. Instead, it was a collection of magical spells, prayers, instructions, and protective formulas written on papyrus scrolls. These texts taught the deceased how to pass dangerous guardians, answer questions from the gods, avoid supernatural dangers, and successfully complete the final judgment. Many spells asked the gods for protection, while others helped the soul recognize sacred pathways leading toward eternal life. Although only wealthy individuals could afford complete collections, similar religious beliefs influenced people throughout ancient Egyptian society. The Great Pyramid itself reflected these spiritual ideas. Its enormous shape rising toward the heavens symbolized the pharaoh's eternal ascent, while its carefully aligned passages connected the monument with the stars that Egyptians believed were the eternal home of divine rulers. To modern visitors, it may appear as an extraordinary achievement of engineering, but to the people who built it, it represented something even greater, a bridge between humanity, the universe, and everlasting life. Many historians also believe the pyramid's orientation was far from accidental. Every side was aligned with extraordinary precision, suggesting that its builders possessed a remarkable understanding of both mathematics and the movements of the heavens. During the night, the skies above ancient Egypt were incredibly clear. Without modern city lights, countless stars filled the horizon, becoming both a calendar and a guide for everyday life. The Egyptians carefully observed the changing positions of stars, using them to predict the annual flooding of the Nile, determine the seasons, and organize important religious ceremonies. These observations gradually became an essential part of Egyptian architecture, influencing the design and orientation of temples, tombs, and eventually, the Great Pyramid itself. This extraordinary connection between Earth and the cosmos has inspired generations of researchers. Some believe the pyramid was designed to mirror the heavens, while others argue that its alignment simply reflects the Egyptians' exceptional surveying skills. Whatever the true explanation may be, one fact remains beyond doubt. The Great Pyramid continues to challenge our understanding, inviting every new generation to search for answers hidden within its ancient stones. For thousands of years, people have looked at the Great Pyramid and asked one fascinating question. Was it built only for the earth, or was it also designed with the heavens in mind? The ancient Egyptians were among the world's greatest observers of the night sky. Long before telescopes, satellites, or modern astronomy, they carefully watched the movements of the sun, the moon, and thousands of stars that filled the desert sky. The clear Egyptian atmosphere allowed incredible visibility. Night after night, priests and astronomers recorded the changing positions of celestial bodies, transforming the sky into a giant calendar that guided agriculture, religion, navigation, and royal ceremonies. Among all the stars, one group held special importance: the stars that never seemed to disappear below the horizon. Today, we call them the circumpolar stars, but to the ancient Egyptians, they were known as the imperishable ones. Because these stars never appeared to die or vanish beneath the earth, they became powerful symbols of eternal life. The Egyptians believed that after death, a righteous pharaoh could join these everlasting stars and live forever among the gods. Many researchers believe this belief influenced the design of the Great Pyramid itself. Inside the pyramid, two narrow shafts extend outward from the king's chamber. For many years, they were thought to be simple ventilation passages. However, closer examination revealed something surprising. These shafts are far too narrow for people to pass through, and they were sealed for thousands of years, making regular ventilation unlikely. Instead, many Egyptologists believe they served a symbolic purpose. Around the time the pyramid was built, one shaft pointed toward the region of the sky containing the circumpolar stars, while another pointed toward the constellation associated with Orion. This discovery immediately attracted worldwide attention. In ancient Egyptian mythology, Orion was closely connected with Osiris, the powerful god of the afterlife, resurrection, and eternal kingship. Osiris was one of the most important deities in Egyptian religion. According to legend, he ruled wisely before being betrayed and killed by his brother Seth. Through the devotion of his wife Isis, he was restored to life, becoming the eternal ruler of the underworld. Because every pharaoh hoped to become one with Osiris after death, some historians believe the pyramid's alignment carried deep religious symbolism. Rather than serving as physical passageways, the shafts may have represented spiritual pathways, allowing the pharaoh's soul to travel toward the sacred stars. Another fascinating theory involves the famous Orion correlation hypothesis. Proposed during the 20th century, this idea suggests that the three major pyramids at Giza reflect the positions of the three bright stars forming Orion's belt. Supporters argue that the slight offset of the smallest pyramid closely resembles the position of the third star, creating a symbolic connection between the monuments and the heavens. The theory became extremely popular, inspiring documentaries, books, and countless discussions around the world. However, many archaeologists remain cautious. While the similarities are certainly intriguing, no ancient Egyptian text has ever confirmed that the pyramids were intentionally designed to copy Orion's belt. Most researchers agree that although astronomy played an important role in Egyptian architecture, direct evidence supporting the complete Orion correlation hypothesis remains limited. Even so, the discussion continues. Modern laser measurements, satellite imagery, and computer simulations have allowed scientists to study the pyramid's orientation with incredible precision. Their findings reveal something remarkable. The Great Pyramid is aligned almost perfectly with true north, with an error of only a tiny fraction of a degree. Even using today's equipment, achieving this level of accuracy on such a massive structure would require careful planning and exceptional skill. How ancient Egyptian surveyors accomplished this feat continues to inspire engineers around the world. Some researchers believe they used pairs of circumpolar stars to establish north. Others suggest they relied on shadows cast by the sun during specific times of the year, while another group believes several techniques were combined to produce astonishing accuracy. Whatever method they employed, the result remains one of the greatest surveying achievements in human history. The more we study the Great Pyramid, the more we realize that it was not simply built with strength. It was built with knowledge, observation, patience, and an extraordinary understanding of both the earth beneath their feet and the sky stretching endlessly above them. Perhaps that is why the Great Pyramid continues to fascinate humanity today. It stands not only as a monument of stone, but also as a monument to curiosity, reminding us that the desire to understand the universe has always been part of the human story. Even today, researchers from around the world continue using technologies that the builders themselves could never have imagined. High-resolution laser scanners, ground-penetrating radar, three-dimensional mapping, artificial intelligence, and advanced computer simulations are helping scientists study every stone with remarkable precision. Each new survey reveals tiny details that previous generations could never observe. Small variations in construction, hidden cavities, microscopic tool marks, and subtle structural movements all contribute to our understanding of how this incredible monument has survived for thousands of years. Yet despite every modern discovery, the Great Pyramid still refuses to reveal all of its secrets. That enduring mystery is one of the reasons it continues to capture the imagination of people across the globe, inviting every generation to ask new questions, explore new ideas, and search for answers that may still lie hidden within its ancient walls. The more researchers study the Great Pyramid, the more one question continues to inspire debate. How exactly did ancient Egyptians build such a remarkable monument with the tools available more than 4,500 years ago? Over the years, countless theories have been proposed. Some are supported by archaeological evidence, while others belong more to the world of imagination than to history. One of the oldest ideas suggests that enormous straight ramps were built from mud bricks, limestone chips, and packed desert sand. As each layer of the pyramid rose higher, the ramp was extended upward, allowing workers to pull heavy stone blocks toward the construction site. At first glance, this explanation seems reasonable. However, many engineers point out an important challenge. To reach the full height of the Great Pyramid, a straight ramp would have needed to be incredibly long, perhaps extending for more than a kilometer, and requiring almost as much material as the pyramid itself. Because of this, many researchers now believe a different system may have been used. One possibility is a zigzag ramp, climbing along one face of the pyramid. Another theory proposes spiral ramps, wrapping around the outer walls as construction progressed, allowing workers to reach greater heights without building an enormous straight approach. Some engineers have even suggested that internal ramps, hidden within the pyramid itself, may have guided the upper stone blocks into position. Although this idea remains debated, modern scanning has revealed unusual internal features that continue to keep the discussion alive. Archaeologists also discovered evidence of carefully prepared work areas, stone cutting sites, transport roads, and ancient harbors connected to canals that once linked the Nile River with the Giza Plateau. These discoveries support the idea that pyramid construction was not a single engineering trick, but the result of an enormous, carefully organized national project involving planning, logistics, mathematics, and thousands of highly skilled workers. The tools available to the builders were surprisingly simple. Copper chisels, wooden mallets, stone hammers, ropes made from plant fibers, wooden sledges, measuring cords, and carefully crafted leveling instruments formed the foundation of their technology. Although these tools appear basic by modern standards, they proved remarkably effective when combined with experience, patience, and exceptional organization. Stone workers often shaped limestone using harder dolerite pounding stones, gradually smoothing each block until it matched the required dimensions with astonishing accuracy. Surveyors repeatedly checked alignment throughout construction, ensuring that every new layer remained level, square, and perfectly positioned. One of the most remarkable achievements was the pyramid's foundation. Modern measurements show that the base is almost perfectly level, with differences of only a few centimeters across an area covering more than 13 acres. Creating such precision without lasers, electronic instruments, or satellite positioning demonstrates an extraordinary understanding of practical engineering. Despite these discoveries, many myths continue to circulate. Some people claim that the pyramids were built with the help of aliens. Others suggest that mysterious lost civilizations possessed advanced technologies now forgotten. While these stories are entertaining, no credible archaeological evidence supports such claims. Every major excavation conducted over the past century has revealed ordinary, human solutions. Worker villages, unfinished stone blocks, ancient tools, quarry marks, transport routes, written records, and construction techniques all point toward the incredible abilities of ancient Egyptian civilization. Perhaps the most inspiring truth is also the simplest. The Great Pyramid does not need supernatural explanations to be extraordinary. It stands as proof that determination, cooperation, careful planning, and generations of accumulated knowledge can accomplish achievements that continue to amaze humanity thousands of years later. Every stone tells the story of skilled hands, brilliant minds, and a civilization that refused to accept the limits of its time. The Great Pyramid remains one of history's greatest reminders that human imagination, when combined with discipline and perseverance, is capable of creating monuments that seem almost impossible, yet stand before us even today. One remarkable fact often surprises first-time visitors. Although the Great Pyramid appears perfectly symmetrical from a distance, no two individual stone blocks are exactly alike. Skilled craftsmen shaped each block to fit its exact position within the structure, creating a monument that combines both precision and adaptability. Construction likely progressed layer by layer, with thousands of workers performing different tasks at the same time. Some quarried stone, others transported blocks, while teams of surveyors constantly checked measurements, ensuring that every new course remained accurate. This level of organization required experienced leaders, detailed planning, and a reliable supply of food, water, tools, and building materials every single day. The pyramid was not simply built with strength, it was built through extraordinary coordination, making it one of the earliest examples of large-scale project management in human history. Even after decades of excavation, researchers continue uncovering new evidence about the builders, their techniques, and their daily lives. Every discovery strengthens the conclusion that the Great Pyramid was not the product of magic, myths, or forgotten superpowers. It was a result of remarkable human intelligence, careful planning, relentless determination, and an unwavering vision to create something that would endure for eternity. And thousands of years later, that vision continues to inspire the entire world. You're right, I accidentally skipped part 17 and jumped straight to part 18. The last line of part 16 was, and thousands of years later, that vision continues to inspire the entire world. So part 17 should continue from there before moving into part 18. Part 17. The more researchers study the Great Pyramid, the more one question becomes clear. How could a civilization more than 4,500 years ago achieve such astonishing precision? Every new survey, every laser scan, and every archaeological discovery reveals that the builders understood geometry, planning, and construction techniques at an extraordinary level. Modern technology has allowed scientists to examine areas that were impossible to reach in the past. Using ground-penetrating radar, thermal imaging, and cosmic ray muon scanning, researchers can now study the pyramid without removing a single stone. These methods have already revealed hidden spaces, unusual temperature differences, and previously unknown internal structures, proving that the monument still holds many secrets. One of the most exciting discoveries came in recent years, when scientists identified a massive hidden void located above the Grand Gallery. This large chamber remains one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. No one knows exactly why it exists, what purpose it served, or whether it connects to additional undiscovered passages. Researchers continue exploring every possibility. Some believe the void may have helped reduce pressure inside the pyramid during construction. Others think it could be an undiscovered architectural feature, or perhaps part of a design that has not yet been fully understood. Until direct access becomes possible, its true purpose remains one of the pyramid's greatest unanswered questions. The Great Pyramid reminds us that history is never completely finished. Every generation brings new tools, new ideas, and new discoveries. Questions that seemed impossible to answer 50 years ago are now being investigated with technology that ancient explorers could never have imagined. Even after decades of excavation, researchers continue uncovering new evidence about the builders, their techniques, and their daily lives. Every discovery strengthens the conclusion that the Great Pyramid was not the product of magic, myths, or forgotten superpowers. It was a result of remarkable human intelligence, careful planning, relentless determination, and an unwavering vision to create something that would endure for eternity. And thousands of years later, that vision continues to inspire the entire world. Part 18. Today, the Great Pyramid is more than an archaeological site. It is one of the world's most visited historical landmarks. Millions of people travel from every corner of the globe to witness its incredible scale with their own eyes. Yet photographs and videos can never fully capture its true size. Standing beside the massive limestone blocks, some weighing several tons, gives visitors a completely different appreciation of what the ancient Egyptians achieved. The Giza Plateau itself is like an open-air museum. Surrounding the Great Pyramid are the pyramids of Khafra and Menkaure, the Great Sphinx, ancient temples, worker cemeteries, and countless archaeological remains that continue revealing new pieces of Egypt's remarkable history. Every excavation adds another chapter to a story that is still being written. The builders of the Great Pyramid were once believed to be slaves, but archaeological discoveries have completely changed that understanding. Excavations uncovered workers' villages, bakeries, kitchens, medical facilities, and carefully planned living quarters. These discoveries show that many of the workers were skilled laborers who received food, shelter, medical treatment, and respect for their contribution to one of history's greatest construction projects. Evidence also suggests that construction was organized with remarkable efficiency. Thousands of workers were divided into specialized teams. Some cut limestone blocks from nearby quarries. Others transported the stones. Skilled craftsmen shaped each block with extraordinary precision. Surveyors checked measurements. Engineers planned the construction sequence, while experienced supervisors coordinated every stage of the project. This level of organization demonstrates an advanced understanding of logistics, workforce management, and large-scale planning. Food was equally important for keeping such a massive workforce productive. Archaeologists discovered evidence of large bakeries, breweries, and storage facilities capable of feeding thousands of people every day. Bread, onions, fish, vegetables, and beer formed the foundation of their daily diet. Supporting such a workforce required careful planning that extended far beyond the construction site itself. Even today, engineers continue studying these ancient construction methods. Many universities use the Great Pyramid as a real-world example when teaching structural engineering, architecture, surveying, and project management. The monument demonstrates that accurate planning, careful measurement, and teamwork can achieve results that survive for thousands of years. Perhaps the greatest achievement was not simply lifting millions of stone blocks, but coordinating thousands of people toward one shared goal. The Great Pyramid reminds us that extraordinary accomplishments rarely depend upon one individual. They are created through cooperation, discipline, patience, and generations of accumulated knowledge. Those same principles continue guiding humanity's greatest achievements even in the modern world. Part 19. As the sun rises over the Giza Plateau, golden light slowly spreads across the ancient stones, creating a view that has remained almost unchanged for thousands of years. Countless generations have watched this same sunrise. Pharaohs, priests, workers, travelers, explorers, archaeologists, and now millions of visitors from around the world. Each generation has looked upon the Great Pyramid with the same feeling of awe. The monument has witnessed the rise and fall of entire civilizations. Ancient Egypt flourished. Greek scholars arrived to study its wonders. Roman emperors admired its scale. Medieval travelers described it in their journals. Napoleon's expedition sparked renewed interest in Egyptian history. Modern archaeologists introduced scientific excavation, and today, satellites, drones, and advanced scanning technology continue revealing new details about this extraordinary structure. Throughout history, the Great Pyramid has survived earthquakes, powerful desert storms, centuries of erosion, and the constant passage of time. While many monuments disappeared, this incredible structure remains standing, continuing to inspire artists, scientists, engineers, architects, historians, and dreamers across every generation. The pyramid also reminds us of an important truth about civilization. Great achievements are never created overnight. They are built through patience, careful planning, knowledge passed from one generation to the next, and the determination to complete a vision that may take decades to achieve. Every stone placed upon another represented countless hours of skilled labor, precise measurement, and unwavering commitment. Today, visitors often focus on the size of the monument, yet its greatest achievement may not be its height, but its precision. Its near-perfect alignment with the cardinal directions, the careful placement of millions of limestone blocks, and the engineering solutions that continue challenging modern experts all demonstrate an astonishing level of human capability. The Great Pyramid teaches us that history is far more advanced than many people imagine. Ancient civilizations possessed remarkable knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, engineering, architecture, organization, and craftsmanship. Their achievements continue reminding us that intelligence is not limited by technology, but strengthened through observation, experience, creativity, and determination. Every visitor leaves the Giza Plateau carrying something different. Some remember the enormous stones. Others remember the silence of the desert. Many remember standing before a monument that has survived for more than 4 millennia. But nearly everyone leaves with a deeper appreciation for the incredible achievements of the ancient Egyptian civilization and for humanity's endless ability to dream, create, and build something that can truly stand the test of time. Part 20. Final conclusion. And so, after more than 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza continues to stand exactly where its builders intended, overlooking the desert, watching civilizations come and go, while remaining one of humanity's greatest achievements. It is the only surviving wonder of the ancient world, a title it has held for thousands of years. Countless empires have risen, flourished, and disappeared, yet the Great Pyramid remains, reminding us that true greatness is measured not only by size, but by endurance. Every stone tells a story, not of kings alone, but of thousands of skilled workers, engineers, architects, surveyors, craftsmen, and laborers whose combined efforts created something far greater than any one individual could accomplish. Their names may have faded from history, but their work continues speaking to the world every single day. The Great Pyramid is also a reminder that knowledge never stops evolving. Every generation asks new questions, develops new technology, and uncovers new discoveries. What remains hidden today may become tomorrow's greatest archaeological breakthrough. The story of the pyramid is still being written, and future researchers may reveal secrets that have remained untouched for thousands of years. Perhaps that is why the Great Pyramid continues fascinating people across every culture and every generation. It represents curiosity, ambition, perseverance, innovation, and humanity's endless desire to build something that outlives its creators. It proves that with vision, planning, teamwork, and determination, ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things. Whether you admire it as an engineering masterpiece, a historical treasure, an architectural wonder, or simply one of the most beautiful monuments ever created, the Great Pyramid of Giza reminds us of one timeless truth. Human imagination has always reached beyond the limits of its own age. Long before modern machines, computers, satellites, or skyscrapers, ancient Egyptians demonstrated that intelligence, mathematics, organization, and dedication could achieve what many believed impossible. Their accomplishment continues inspiring scientists, engineers, historians, architects, and millions of visitors every single year. As technology advances, researchers will undoubtedly continue exploring the hidden passages, mysterious chambers, and unanswered questions that still lie within this incredible monument. But regardless of what future discoveries reveal, one fact will never change. The Great Pyramid of Giza stands as one of the greatest accomplishments in the history of human civilization. Thank you for joining this journey through one of Earth's most extraordinary monuments. If you enjoyed exploring the history, engineering, mysteries, and legacy of the Great Pyramid of Giza, be sure to subscribe to UDBRIX Ignarus for more immersive documentaries about ancient civilizations, forgotten wonders, remarkable engineering, and the incredible stories that shaped our world. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, every great discovery begins with a single question.